Tonight here in East Texas, there are 574 federally recognized Native American tribes in the U.S. That's according to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And now the Mineola Nature Preserve has a new monument donated by the tribes of Tejas. As our April Peardant reports, learning about indigenous tribes and dances is more than understanding a culture. It's about helping preserve traditions.
So we're conchero dancers. We're la palabra de San Luis de Francia.
An Aztec dance that's in Emmanuel Aguilar's DNA.
I've been dancing from 5 years old from a mesa in Mexico City.
And has made it his mission to preserve it.
We come from a mestizaje, so we're mixed between our European ancestry and our indigenous ancestry.
But through time, similar dances like these, and even tribes, have been lost.
These are groups that have lasted 200, 500 years sometimes.
Yet, sometimes by word of mouth, some tribes find their way back together.
We all come from different parts of Texas.
Elena Flores and the Danza Azteca from Dallas.
We met through Facebook, all of us, and just decided to gather together.
Which brought them here at the NatureFest in Mineola.
The impact of having our indigenous peoples here today and represented was a huge impact to our community.
An impact that has left a legacy on the grounds of Mineola Nature Preserve.
And now have a monument, a Tribes of Tejas monument here.
Which is something that Sonia Meinert says it's a step towards maintaining their heritage alive.
Tribes all around us have lived here before us, and to preserve that culture is so important.
And also for others too.
Continue learning about each other so that we can accept each other and live together and just embrace each other.
For Emmanuel, it's more than just their dances. It's about being united.
We can be one people, and share within our culture.
And within every tribe and every nation. April Peardant, East Texas News Weekend.
This will be the first year NatureFest in Mineola was reintroduced to the city since 2015.